Listen up, Rangers. Welcome to the Geek Chest. My name's Steve, and today we got a super special review for you guys because, one, I've never bought figures like these. Two, you're getting two figures for one review instead of two guys for one figure. Sounds wrong. But anyways, because Kurama just came in and didn't get to really do an unboxing, and I feel like I'm going to have the same kind of sentiments between the two, so doing 2 for 1 isn't bad. That and kind of gives you a little bit more bang for your buck for watching the video, which I do appreciate. And also, we got Yu Hakusho figures, as you guys could clearly tell, which is easily one of my favorite animes of all time. Actually, just my favorite anime of all time. And also one of like the most criminally underutilized franchises for action figures, at least anime-wise. Because you figure like Dragon Ball Z gets a crap ton of figures between stateside, import stuff. Naruto, same thing. One Piece. Not so much previously. I don't even like One Piece, but at least like now they're making like a lot more figures for it, especially action figures, which is great, by the way. And then there was like this anime, which is like I feel like up there in terms of shonen, and there's barely next to nothing. So once I saw that Great Toys was making some stuff, got really pumped about it because not too long ago there was the one shots, which I found out about. But I didn't really like the look that much of them. Like, they were fine. I was thinking about grabbing the Yusuke, but I seen he sold out, and then Kurama went up for order, and Kurama looked... And then I got turned on to this Yusuke popping up for pre-order. And then it was like, well, this Yusuke's popping up, plus they have... These guys are also going to be a thing, too. Also, I just realized his hand's hanging out there. I already... Spoiler, I opened this guy to look at him real quick, so one of his hands got loose. But anyways... Pick these up. These are, I don't, like, quote me if I'm wrong. I don't think these are official. They're not third party. It's more like a third party, kind of like a Transformer, if you will, where it's like, it's Optimus Prime, but it's not Optimus Prime. But then again, they actually have the characters' names on there. So I even got Yu on the back. But they did mention that they are finishing the rest of them. So Hiei's up for order. Kuwabara will be eventually. And then they're doing even more characters. So needless to say, I'm stoked. Like, you give me everyone for Yu Hakusho. I will buy all of them. Because more so than Dragon Ball Z, more so than all the other ones. Like, this is the one, like, I adore, like, all the characters in the series. So I'll purchase most everybody. There's also, I picked these up from 5K Toys. And the same company is also making, like, Bleach. Currently, they have the Rurouni Kenshin figures that are starting to pop up. There's quite a few stuff, and 5K Toys is where I picked these up. Specifically, the pair of these are running about $100. So after the review, if you guys are interested, that's where I would recommend. They came here nice, secure. First time me doing business with that shop, and it was actually really great. But anyways, outside of that, let's get into the figure. So without further ado, for the packaging, pretty much the exact same between the pair, outside of just color, which this is more Kurama colors. Although I guess the belt is the zipper here is where you get the yellows from. You also get the red because of the hair. You get the pink because of the outfit. This one's grays, browns, and greens. Again, kind of confused on one color, why it's so predominant on the front. I think the green should have been here, if anything. But nothing really here on the back. Tops, pretty boring. Bottom, some Lego-ish mumbo-jumbo. But anyways, because there's not, like... Was a Studio Parrot made Yu Hakusho? There's no real copyright information down here for that. It's mainly just like, hey, it's not for kids, don't choke on it. But anyways, let's get them open up out of their cardboard prisons. Alright, so now that we got Yusuke and Kurama open up out of their cardboard prisons, I really need to make some more transition slides for not kaiju stuff. Because this stuff's going to be mainly kind of more like the older reviews. But anyways... since we got them opened up out of their cardboard prison, first and foremost, they come with some accessories. Well, actually, they come with some of the same accessories. For instance, their stands. Laying them down real quick, but what you get here is you get a wood floor looking thing with some peg holes here on the back for the stands, but you do get two, which help if I put them in right. But you get a more elongated one, sort of like a figure arts. You get a shorter one, which does not want to fit into the hole. It is a tight fit. This is probably easily the most bootleggy feeling of the bunch, to be fair. But you can get in there decently nice. And then it comes with a pair of clamps. So you get this larger one here. And then the smaller one here, which is the exact same between the pair. So grabbing Kurama's. So what's kind of neat is if you got multiples, these actually come out. Maybe. Looks like it'll come out. Well, anyways, the back half, I'm just going to leave them in because I don't feel like breaking it. But you have these little pegs here. There's also this here. And you can overlay this. So the more you have, the more of a floor you can make. And you could keep kind of the characters together on this one like giant stand, which I think is pretty sweet. You can also do the same on the side here too, if you wanted, and just reuse the same clamps. So that's actually kind of neat, especially with the more figures you buy of a series, it kind of matches. Then also it's pretty much the same for everybody because the Sanosuke also has this exact same thing. So you can even keep it with the characters. But overall, it's not too bad. Like I said, it'd be nice if it fit in the hole a little easier, because now that I got it in, I'm afraid to rotate it. And do it very slowly. Then you put this on the tippy tops, which is also a super fudging snug fit. And then you can clamp that around your character in order to help keep them upright. So, does the job. Definitely, I like the clamps better than just pegging it into the back on these because it is soft goods. So, I would be a little bit terrified of damaging it with that. I would have maybe liked the smaller ones like you see on the actual like figure arts, specifically like the Sailor Moon ones, stuff like that. So, it's not as gigantic around it, but still, it's still just good to come with a stand nonetheless. Especially, again, with it being cloth. You don't want it, like, hitting the table or falling down or getting scuffed up or dirty. But anyways, I guess we'll start with Yusuke's accessories and then we'll go over Kurama's. And I guess first and foremost, he does come with a spirit gun effect, which is kind of why I have the finger here. So you can get him look like he's doing his trademark move. The problem is this thing kind of sucks in terms of just the design. It's really tiny. It doesn't do it for me. It just kind of looks like he's shooting a little pew-pew of water. But it does have a peg hole on the bottom, so you can put it on the stand. So if you want it look like it's shooting away. I guess it kind of makes a bullet thing. I don't get why that little nub's there. What I ended up doing is I just 3D printed one. So I went on the Blender, made a 3D model, and just kind of made my own. So when I'm done, this will is going to be his replacement for the gun effect. I think it looks a little better. Still thinking about maybe doing a couple of different variations because he does have them in the show. I also ended up 3D printing just a little sphere that he could put his finger into in order to make it look like he's charging, although it makes his finger look super long, but it works. It works. It does what I needed, and I'm overall pleased with it. I might put it on the Etsy at some point, but probably not soon. Also, he comes with some faceplates, which what you get is you get Stern Yusuke, you get Angry Yusuke, and you also get Yelling Yusuke, which on the face is him kind of smirking and looking off to the side. Now what's fun is if you want to swap them out, what you do is you remove the hair, kind of like what you do on your standard figure arts. You can also remove the faceplate. And then what's also cool is, does it do this? Sanosuke's like 3 different things. Yes, the back of the hair also comes off on this as well. So you just have this weird little penguin looking thing. So you disassemble. And we're going to put Yusuke Yelling. Stick the back of the hair back on. You don't really got to remove the back of the hair. To be honest, you could get away with it just by treating it like a Figma. But it's just kind of funny that you can disassemble the thing so much. But here he is, yelling and doing a spirit gun. Speaking of, he comes with some extra hand accessories, which he does have a spirit gun, which I think the finger is a little too long, if I'm going to be honest, because you look at that index finger compared to that index finger, and hold on. I can just get the spirit gun finger, like it is. Well, I guess it's not that much longer. It's a little bit longer, but it looks gigantic. It's not a bad thing, but it was one of those, like, when I put the orb on it, it made it seem really long, and then I took it off and I'm like, oh, it's not quite as, the orb didn't make it look as bad as I thought it already did. But he does come with a pair of the, like, gripping hands, which is good for clamping over his arm doing the spirit gun. You also get a pair of, like, karate gripping hands. Trying to find the other one. Comes with a pair of clenched fists for punching apparitions, and you also get a pair of gripping hands. Oh, you also get these ones too. You can get more like open, almost like kung fu hands. Although this one does have a little bit of a gash on it. Looks like Yusuke's got a boo-boo. But a lot of it has to do with the way the hand glued to the finger, to the base. Is that a deal breaker? No. To be honest, I kind of just, like, that'd be a pretty easy thing for me to kind of fill and fix if I really wanted to. And then for other specific accessories, he comes with his bag and poo, which is done in a blue color. Got the fluffy, not Yusuke hair. And then, I see, you could, like, I wish there was a magnet. It's just like a magnet. Bloop, stick it on the top. That would have actually been really sweet. But you can get him to sit. It's a little cockeyed. If anything, I think Pooh looks a little small. Because you figure if they make a Keiko, I want her to be able to, like, hold on to Pooh, sort of like so. And at least in the anime, it seemed like he definitely stuck out a little bit more than that. But it's still, like, it's like Yusuke's little trademark pet. So it's cool that it just comes with them in general. And then you get the bag if you want to have it, like, look like Yusuke's, like, handing it over his back or something, if you wanted to. Not really an accessory I needed for it, but it's still just, still something cool. Just in general, Kurama comes with the exact same thing. So it's mainly just, like, the schoolboy accessory treatment. And then speaking of Kurama's accessories, because that's pretty much it for Yusuke. If you want to swap out the hands real quick, though, what you do, grab at the base of the forearm, and you're just going to pull out, grab whatever accessory hand you want, and just make sure you push it in, and you try to keep it as straight as humanly possible. Now, we got Yusuke ready with some karate poses, which isn't quite very Yusuke-ish. Yusuke is pretty much just clenched fist and punch, punch, punch. Now, one thing I did notice between the pair is between Yusuke and Kurama, Kurama's skin is definitely lighter. Oh, he's got the same thing going on with that finger. It must have just been a mold. So his has like a little slit in it too. So it's just the bad mold. Gotcha. But anyways, he's a little bit lighter in terms of the coloring. But for the most part, accessory-wise, it's literally the exact same in terms of hands. Outside of you don't get the spirit gun effect, but all the other he does come with these hands, which, trying to see if I can find the other one on the table. Did he have another one? Ah, there it is. He comes with this one instead of the spirit gun hand, which is for pinching the flower petals, which you get a red one and a pink one. So what you can do, you take whichever color you want. It's not the easiest thing to do, and you kind of pinch it between his thumb and his finger, and then you kind of get him to look like he's smelling it, kind of like in the series. That or he's getting ready to do his, like, rose whip, which he thankfully comes with. Although this thing, better than the spirit gun, I will state that this thing is definitely much better than this thing. This is probably my least favorite thing out of the entire set, which is odd because it's like Yusuke's trademark thing. Might have been nice if there was a bendy wire in here, though, because it's just a soft plastic. So you stick that in his hand, and then rose whip. But it's still sweet, because granted, it's kind of got its own thing going on. So for the most part, what you're going to probably end up doing is utilize. Yeah, it's kind of got its own thing going on, but you can utilize the stand in order to kind of get the posing that you want with it. So overall, it's not like useless. But for the most part, I'm probably just going to be having it on the shelf, and it's just going to kind of lay on the ground for the most part in terms of display purposes. For his heads, or faces, I should say, he comes with the basic, just kind of blank expression. You get yelling Kurama. You get Kurama looking to the opposite side of Yusuke with his mouth open a little bit. You get closed mouth, him looking to the other side, sort of like Yusuke. And then you get closed eyes for him meditating, blocking out his emotions, stuff like that. If you want to swap out the accessory, swap that out. I haven't tried it on him yet. I imagine it's... Oh, okay, this is different than Yusuke. So this has a ball joint. So what you're going to have to do is you take off everything, and then you get this, which is just his head on a ball joint. So you grab at the base of the neck, base of the ball joint, you pop it out, and then you put your new head on, take your hair, reattach, and then good to go. Still do not understand why this doesn't have a bendy wire. I digress. Oh, and just like I mentioned earlier, also has a little backpack. But for a closer look at their details, starting with Kurama, the hair looks great. Pretty much fairly accurate for the show, especially the way the faceplate is set up. I think works really well for the character. And you see it kind of flows around to the back, but he's got his little bangs kind of curling up in the front. Same with on the side here, and then his little official bangs coming down the side here. His clothes are done in soft goods, which is a little more pink than I think it should be, to be fair. Like, it shouldn't be quite red like his hair, but I think it should be a little bit darker, but this is still very serviceable. And he's got a zipper on the front. Just notice it's got the Velcro on the back here. So if you want to, oh, that's so white. So if you want to nakeify your Kurama, that is an option you have. Then it's just open up on the back here. His pants are done in the same pink. I don't think he's wearing a belt. He is not. Although he does have the Velcro on the front here. So if you want to take this off, you got options. Oops. No, everything's adjusting and I don't like it. For the shoes, one thing I noticed between the two, I was gonna say, does he actually have socks? But I think that's just the color of his skin. It's so white, which is fine. Like, that's how Kurama is. He's got very fair skin, but literally the exact same shoes between him and Yusuke. And all that, just like character-wise, there isn't that much to go over because it's like their outfits are fairly basic. Especially this is more like season 1 appearance, so it's just their school uniforms. But I think they look really good. And it's odd because usually when I talk about clothing on characters, you like go over the detailing, like how the creases look and how accurate it is. Well, with soft goods, it's just like, it's his clothing. So that's cool. For his articulation, one thing that concerns me with soft goods is tearing, because you have to be very mindful of the stitching. But you can get his arm up decently. It's got a ball joint here, so you can kind of wiggle that all the way around. You can't get to go forward and back, but you got to be, again, mindful of the cloth here. So the more you move it, you might have to like adjust the fabric in certain directions in order to get it to really move. It's got, I'm pretty sure that's probably a double joint in there, because you can get it to bend really good. But again, the cloth kind of gets in the way a little bit. Got his wrist can swing forward and back, rotates all the way around. Head, really nice range of motion, because even the neck is its own articulated joint. Same with the body. You get what appears to be some articulation at the top of the chest and at the waist. So he's got a nice wiggle. Really nice forward, really nice back. And again, if you want to try to make him a little more crazy posing, you can open up the clothing a little bit too. You won't notice it from the front, but you can get him to like bend a little bit better. Now for the legs is the tricky part, because you can get it to go a little bit back and a little bit forward. The more you want it to kick, again, you got to be careful with the cloth and especially that seam there. So I wouldn't really recommend getting him to do like full on ninja kicking. Unless you start trying to get the pants off a little bit, then you can get it to go more and more forward. But again, we gotta adjust the fabric in order to get it in the positioning that you want. It's got double jointed knees, so that's really good. And then his feet can move forward and back, and wiggle side to side. And then for Yusuke, it's pretty much the exact same with the articulation, so I don't really need to go over that. There's literally no real difference between the pair. For his clothing, though, it's a little bit different than the way Kurama's is set up, because, like you've seen before, on the back has the opening, while Yusuke's is on the front, and it's actually held in by magnets, which you can see on the shirt. But this can open up. So if you want to have fighting with the shirt kind of exposed, or even if you want to take it off to kind of replicate more in-depth fighting, I guess, where you gotta take off your layers. And then the buttons look really nice, got a nice shine to them. Same with on the cuffs. You get 3 there. He's also got a belt on, which scares me a little bit because it's just a little leather belt held in by some string. So you got to be, again, mindful of the stitching, especially when articulating it, because I can see that ripping eventually. But outside of that, the pants are pretty much the same between the pair. Just different coloring from what I can tell. There isn't really anything else really too drastic there. It's mainly just he's got extra layer clothing than Kurama. But other than that, detailing's pretty much the same. Still good though. So for some quick comparisons, here we have the Great Toys Yu Hakusho figures compared next to some other anime figures with the SH Figure Arts Sailor Moon and the Dragon Ball Stars Master Roshi. Which, one thing I want to say is they are a little bit bigger than most figure arts, because she's about standard scale size. I'll show some Dragon Ball Z ones in a second. But they are definitely larger, and even they're about the same size as the stars anyways. But one thing I forgot to mention in the review is how well these two actually scale next to each other. Because here they are next to some SH Figure Arts figures with the Namek Bulma, which just came out not too long ago, and the Kaioken Goku, which I don't think they should be dwarfing Goku. But then again, they're not really meant to be in scale with them anyways. They're kind of their own thing. And here there were some Figma figures. Well, they're not the, I guess, best size comparison, but we have them next to the Figma Hentai Kamen and the Darkness from Konosuba. And here they are some other anime figures I loved as a kid, with the Gundam Universe Tall Geese from Gundam Wing, and the other Great Toys figure that I have, the Sanosuke Cigar from Rurouni Kenshin. And then for some other random anime stuff still hanging on my office, here they are next to the Papa Parade Mako from Kill la Kill and the Quetzalcoatl Rika Takarada. Thankfully, it's on the base here, so I don't forget the name. From SS Gridman. So overall for the GT Toys, Yusuke and Kurama from Yu Hakusho, these guys are fantastic. And a lot of that, I think, is just like my nostalgia. Like, I love Yu Hakusho, and just having figures that are very serviceable just ups the value for these for me, because there's just nothing really like them. Granted, there could have been a little bit better in the accessory department, because like Yusuke Spirit Gun, a little bit lacking. Kurama might have been nice to be able to actually pose the Rose Whip. And I think Pooh maybe could have been a little bigger. But outside of that, they come with plenty of hand accessories, plenty of face plates. They're very articulated. The clothing are done very nice on them. And the sculpt is still really, really well done for these. So if you guys love Yu Hakusho, this is definitely, I think, the line to hop into. Especially with the knowledge that we are getting more characters than just like the core 4. Because I need me a Botan, and Toguro would be sweet too. I'm not sure if they do a Toguro wig, which one would you do? I imagine one of the ones like where he's actually got the clothing on, because it'd probably be a little bit easier to pull that off than say like once you get into like 80% Toguro, 85%, 100% Toguro, like his forms that he had there. Sensu would be dope too. Although personally, I would love a Chew. The first like main guy who fought in the Dark Tournament, the guy that drinks the ogre beer, or the ogre alky, that guy, easily my favorite dude from Dark Tournament. What do you guys think? If you guys picked up these figures, what's your favorite Yu Hakusho figure? Is Hunter x Hunter just more you think? Please let know in the comments. We also have an Instagram, Patreon, Pinterest, and Facebook. Guys, like people the day with channel donate. We greatly appreciate it. And help us defeat those kaijus by hitting that like button. Subscribe, become a ranger today. See you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.